The battle above Earth slowly came to a stop. Ships from both sides floated in space, weapons still ready but no longer firing. The remaining Council vessels formed a defensive line. Earth ships did the same. From the disabled planet killer came an unexpected message. We request ceasefire talks. On Earth, people emerged from shelters to see strange lights in the sky, the aftermath of the greatest space battle in human history. They didn't cheer or celebrate yet. Everyone waited, knowing something important was happening. 2 days later, representatives from all sides met on the neutral ground of the moon base. The Alpharians had offered to mediate. Ambassador Russell led the human delegation. The main council chamber was tense. Zalaxian representatives glared at humans and Alpharians alike. The Lorians stood apart, now trusted by no one. Vectory warriors watched everything with careful eyes. Eldest of the Alpharians spoke first, its glowing form pulsing gently. We gather to end a conflict that should never have begun. Too much has been lost through fear and manipulation. The Zalaxian commander responded angrily. The humans are dangerous. They think and fight in ways no civilized species should. Russell stepped forward. He had practiced for this moment, knowing the future of Earth depended on his words. Yes, we are dangerous, he admitted, surprising everyone. Humans evolved on a difficult world. We had to adapt quickly or die. We had to fight predators, survive disasters, and overcome our own worst instincts. He looked at each alien representative. But being dangerous doesn't mean we want war. We only fought because you threatened our freedom, our very existence. All we ever wanted was to join the stars on our own terms. The debate lasted for hours. Some council species still wanted Earth contained or controlled. Others, impressed by human determination, argued for acceptance. Finally, the Alpharians proposed terms. Earth would be granted observer status in the Galactic Council with a path to full membership. Humans could continue to develop their technology and explore space, but would agree to certain restrictions on weapons. The Lorians would be sanctioned for their deception, but not expelled from the Council. They would continue their alliance with Earth, but under strict oversight. Most importantly, the Council officially recognized humanity's right to exist freely and develop without interference. We accept these terms, Russell said after consulting with Earth's leaders. The ceasefire agreement was signed by all parties. The remnants of the Council fleet departed Earth's solar system. The long conflict was finally over. 1 month later, Admiral Olivia Wright stood on the observation deck of the New Earth Embassy. It orbited a distant star, close to the main Council meeting place. From here, she could see ships from a dozen alien species coming and going. Strange to think it all started with me getting that first signal, she said to Ambassador Russell, who would now lead Earth's delegation to the Council. And now we're about to take our place among the stars, Russell replied. Wright looked out at the stars. Do you think they understand us yet? What makes humans different? Russell smiled. They're beginning to. The Alpharians study our history now. The Vecturi want to learn our fighting techniques. Even the Zalaxians have requested our literature to better understand how we think. And what did you tell them? Wright asked. What makes humanity special? I said we never give up, Russell answered simply. When faced with impossible odds, when told to surrender our freedom or die, we choose a third option. We fight harder, think faster, and surprise even ourselves with what we can achieve. Below them, the first group of human tourists and diplomats arrived at the embassy. They looked up at the alien sky with wonder, ready to explore a universe that had tried to destroy them, but would now have to make room for humanity among the stars. Earth was no longer alone, and the galaxy would never be the same. The warning came too late. Only 3 days after Ambassador Russell's return, long-range sensors detected a massive fleet entering the solar system. Over 50 ships from multiple Council races approached Earth, led by the largest Zalaxian vessels ever seen. Emergency alerts sounded across Earth and its colonies. People rushed to shelters built during the past year. Soldiers and ships moved into defensive positions. Everyone knew this was the moment that would decide humanity's future. Admiral Monroe gathered Earth's leaders in the underground command center. His face was grim but determined. "This is what we've prepared for," he said. "Every drill, every sacrifice, every hard decision. It all comes down to today." President Garcia looked at the tactical displays showing the incoming fleet. "How many ships do we have?" 43 combat-ready vessels," General Carter answered, "plus the Lorian ships, though I'm not sure we can trust them now." Dr. Lane spoke up. "We have one more option." She brought up images of a massive device surrounding Earth. Project Aegis. "It's not fully tested, but it's our best hope if their ships get through." Project Aegis was a planetary shield developed from both Lorian and Zolaxian technology. Dr. Lane had designed it to protect the entire planet, but it had never been activated at full power. As the enemy fleet approached Mars orbit, Earth launched its defense. Every available ship moved to intercept, hoping to stop the attack before it reached Earth. Major Eric Peters commanded the newest Earth vessel, the EDF Phantom. Using technology reverse-engineered from the captured Zolaxian cruiser, the Phantom could become nearly invisible to sensors. "Phantom in position," Peters reported, "beginning our approach." His mission was critical. While the main fleet engaged the enemy directly, the Phantom would slip behind their lines and target their command ships. The space battle was unlike anything humans had ever experienced. Energy weapons lit up the darkness between planets. Ships moved at incredible speeds, appearing and disappearing as they jumped in and out of faster-than-light travel. From the command center, Lieutenant Nicole Davis monitored communications. She had worked with Lieutenant Powell's team and understood alien communication systems better than anyone. An idea struck her. "Sir," she called to Admiral Monroe, "we have copies of the internal Lorian communications about their deception, right?" Monroe nodded, from Captain Miller's discovery. "What if we broadcast that to all the Council ships? Let them see how they've been manipulated into this war." It was a desperate plan, but they had nothing to lose. Davis worked quickly, compiling the evidence and preparing it for transmission on all frequencies used by Council species. Meanwhile, the battle grew desperate. Earth ships fought bravely, but were outnumbered. The largest Council vessel, a planet killer, moved past the defensive line toward Earth. Peters saw his opportunity. The Phantom slipped behind the planet killer, preparing to strike at its engines. Before he could fire, his sensors detected a dozen more ships approaching from beyond Neptune. "Unknown vessels incoming," he reported, expecting more enemies. To everyone's surprise, the new arrivals opened fire on the Council fleet. The Alpharians had brought their own ships, attacking the Zolaxians and their allies. "This is eldest of the Alpharian collective," came a transmission. "The genocide strike was not approved by the full Council. We stand with humanity against this crime." The battle shifted. Some Council ships began to withdraw, confused by the Alpharian intervention. At that moment, Lieutenant Davis broadcast her message to every ship in the solar system. The evidence of Lorian manipulation spread quickly. More Council vessels halted their attack as their crews learned they had been drawn into a political conflict. Colonel Ben Harrison, leading Earth's special forces aboard the captured Zolaxian cruiser, saw an opening. "All teams, target the flagship now." His ship, disguised as part of the Zolaxian fleet, approached the planet killer. When they were close enough, they fired everything they had at the massive ship's command center. The planet killer's lights flickered, its weapons powered down. Earth had a chance. 1 year had passed since first contact. Earth had changed completely. Cities now had shield domes. Space elevators carried people and supplies to orbiting stations. Farms grew alien plants that could feed twice as many people with half the land. Most importantly, humans were no longer alone in the galaxy. They were players in a complex game of power and politics. Ambassador Kevin Russell prepared for the most important meeting in human history. He studied reports on alien cultures and practiced greetings in 3 non-human languages. "Are you ready, Ambassador?" asked his assistant. Russell nodded. As ready as anyone can be to meet with beings from 12 different worlds. The meeting would take place on a neutral space station orbiting Saturn. The Council had agreed to speak with Earth directly for the first time. Russell would represent all of humanity. His ship docked at the station. When the doors opened, he saw creatures from his briefings, but seeing pictures was nothing like standing before them in person. The Alfarian representative glowed and shifted like a living aurora. The Vecturi towered over everyone, their skin like polished stone. The Zalaxian delegate stood apart, 4 eyes blinking in obvious displeasure. "Welcome, human ambassador," said the Alfarian. "The Council recognizes Earth as a significant emerging power." The meeting lasted for hours. The Council offered terms. Earth could join as a probationary member if they stopped expanding their military and shared all Lorian technology they had received. "We must consider your offer carefully," Russell said, neither accepting nor rejecting. Back on Earth, Dr. Patricia Lane worked in a secret facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. For months, she had studied the captured Zalaxian ship and Lorian technology. "We've cracked their power systems," she told Admiral Monroe during his inspection. "We can now build our own ships without depending on Lorian crystals." Monroe looked impressed. "How long until production?" 6 months for the first prototype. A year for a small fleet. This changed everything. Earth would no longer need to rely on alien allies who might have their own agendas. Meanwhile, Captain Andrew Miller commanded a routine patrol near Jupiter when his sensors detected an unusual energy signature. He found a damaged Lorian scout ship drifting in space. He rescued the crew and discovered something disturbing in their databanks. The Lorians had been sending detailed reports about Earth's defenses to unknown recipients. Miller confronted Vexlor back on Earth. "You've been spying on us." "Why?" The Lorian's crystalline form dimmed slightly. "It's complicated, Captain." "Make it simple," Miller demanded. "The Lorians need this conflict," Vexlor admitted. "The Council has grown corrupt. The Zalaxians gained too much power. We needed a new force to disrupt the balance." "So you used us," Miller said coldly. "We helped you survive," Vexlor countered. "But yes, we selected Earth partially because your species is unpredictable and effective in combat." Vexlor's next words chilled Miller, but now several Council races planned something terrible. A genocide strike against Earth. They will use planet-killer weapons. Miller reported this to Earth leadership immediately. Ambassador Russell was ordered to delay any agreements with the Council. On the Saturn station, Russell sensed the change in mood when he returned to the negotiations. "We need more time to consider membership," he told the Council. The Alfarian seemed understanding, but the Zalaxian delegate grew agitated. "Time is precisely what we cannot grant," it said. "Your species represents an unacceptable variable." Russell maintained his composure. "Threatening us has not worked well for you so far." As Russell's ship departed the station, he noticed unusual movement among the Council vessels. Some were leaving quickly, while others formed new formations. He contacted Earth. "Something's happening. I think we need to prepare for the worst." The Zalaxians and their allies had grown tired of debate. They had decided to eliminate the human problem permanently, regardless of the Council's official position. Earth had 2 weeks at most before the attack would begin. Lieutenant Powell's message reached Earth 3 days after her capture. The data showed everything. Council debates, alien fears, and most importantly, the location of Zalaxian staging areas where they prepared for attacks. General William Carter studied the star maps in the war room. His face showed no emotion, but his mind raced with possibilities. After 30 years in the military, he never imagined planning battles against aliens. "We can't wait for them to attack again," he told Admiral Monroe and the other leaders. "We need to strike first." "Attack the Zalaxians directly?" President Garcia asked. "Is that even possible?" Carter nodded. Lieutenant Powell's data gives us the locations of 3 Zalaxian bases. They don't expect us to come to them. They think we're stuck defending Earth. The plan was named Operation Wildfire. 3 Earth battle fleets would jump to different Zalaxian staging areas at the same time. The flagship EDF Resilience would lead the main attack. We hit hard and fast, Carter explained. Show them that threatening Earth was a mistake. 2 weeks later, the Earth fleets were ready. 40 ships, all equipped with Lorian technology and human creativity. The crews were nervous but determined. On the bridge of the Resilience, Captain Alan Russell addressed his crew. We're about to go farther from home than any humans in history. We're about to fight an enemy that thought we would just surrender our freedom. Let's show them who we really are. The 3 fleets jumped into faster-than-light travel at exactly the same time. When they arrived at the Zalaxian bases, chaos erupted. The Zalaxians never expected an attack. Their ships were docked. Their weapons were powered down. Their crews were unprepared. Earth ships fired from multiple directions. Some attacked head-on with full power. Others used hit-and-run tactics, striking quickly then jumping to new positions. They're confused, reported Lieutenant Emma Wilson on the Resilience. Their ships are trying to form standard defense patterns, but our attacks don't match anything they know. The battle at the main base lasted 3 hours. 7 Earth ships were lost, but 22 Zalaxian vessels were destroyed. The other 2 battles had similar results. Commander Diana Foster led the most daring part of the mission. While the main battle raged, her small squad took a modified shuttle directly to a Zalaxian cruiser. Boarding team in position, she reported calmly as her shuttle attached to the alien ship. Beginning entry now. No human had ever been inside a Zalaxian warship before. Foster's team used cutting tools designed by Dr. Grant to open a hole in the hull. The Zalaxians inside were shocked to see humans on their ship. They fought back, but Foster's team used tactics the aliens couldn't predict. They split up, attacked from multiple directions, and used the ship's own systems against the crew. We're at the bridge, Foster reported 2 hours later. The ship is ours. For the first time in known history, a Galactic Council species had lost a warship to a boarding action. The Zalaxians had no procedures for this. It was unthinkable to them. The Earth fleets returned home with their captured ship. The victory was celebrated around the world. Humans had taken the fight to the enemy and won. In space, a Vecturi scout ship watched the Earth fleet's return. The Vecturi were impressed by human fighting skills. They sent a message to their leaders. The humans show warrior spirit worthy of respect. We should speak with them. A week later, a Vecturi ship approached Earth, broadcasting a simple message. We wish to talk, not fight. Earth now faced a new situation. The Zalaxians were weakened but still dangerous. The Lorians offered technology but had their own agenda. And now the Vecturi, the most powerful warriors in the galaxy, wanted to make a deal. General Carter looked at the reports of alien movements with narrowed eyes. The game is getting more complicated, he said. We need to be very careful about who we trust. Far from Earth, on a space station built inside a hollow asteroid, 12 different alien species gathered. This was the Galactic Council, rulers of most of the known universe. They came in many shapes and sizes. Some looked almost like humans. Others were so strange humans would struggle to understand they were even alive. At the center of the meeting chamber, a Zalaxian commander named Drez stood tall. His gray skin was marked with battle scars, and his 4 eyes blinked in different patterns as he spoke. The humans must be stopped now, Drez said. They learn too quickly. They adapt our own weapons to use against us. They are dangerous. An Alfarian floated forward. Alfarians were ancient beings that looked like glowing clouds. This one called itself Eldest and had watched many species rise and fall. We have heard this fear before, Eldest said, its voice like gentle thunder. Every new species seems dangerous to those already established. Perhaps we should observe longer before deciding. Observe, Drez shouted, while they grow stronger. They allied with the Lorian rebels. They defeated our battle fleet. A Vecturi representative stepped into the light. Vecturi were tall, muscular beings with thick armor-like skin. They were known as the best warriors in the galaxy. The humans fight well, the Vecturi said. Their tactics are unpredictable. This is valuable. Perhaps they could serve the Council rather than be destroyed. The debate continued for days. Some Council members wanted to destroy Earth immediately. Others wanted to study humans more. A few even suggested offering humans membership in the Council someday. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Samantha Powell led a dangerous mission. Her small ship looked like space debris from the outside. Inside, she and 5 other humans worked in tight quarters, barely speaking above whispers. They had been traveling for weeks, following the Zelaxian ships that retreated from Earth. Now they orbited the Council asteroid, gathering information. "I'm into their communication network," whispered Corporal Joe Freeman, his eyes never leaving his screen. "It's encrypted, but the Lorian codes are helping." Powell looked over his shoulder. "What are they saying about us?" "It's interesting," Freeman said. "The Zelaxians are scared. Not just annoyed or concerned. Actually scared." "Of our weapons?" Powell asked. "No, of how we think." Freeman pointed to a translation on his screen. "Look at this. Humans change tactics mid-battle. They ignore standard protocols. They take actions that harm themselves to gain advantage." Powell smiled. "They don't understand why we're willing to sacrifice." Over the next few hours, they learned more. The Council species had rules for everything, including war. They followed patterns established over thousands of years. Humans didn't know these rules, so they broke them without realizing it. "The Alfarians are defending us," Freeman said with surprise. "They say we deserve a chance. And the Vecturi think we make good soldiers," added specialist Lisa Chen from another console. "They want to recruit us rather than kill us." Powell made her decision. "We've learned enough. We need to get this information back to Earth." As they prepared to leave, alarms blared on their ship. A Zelaxian patrol had spotted them. "Evasive action," Powell ordered. Their small ship darted away from the asteroid, pursued by 3 Zelaxian fighters. Freeman sent a data burst toward Earth, hoping the message would reach home even if they didn't. The Zelaxian ships fired, hitting their engines. Powell knew they couldn't outrun them now. "New plan," she said calmly. "We let them capture us." "What?" Chen looked shocked. "They won't kill us right away. They'll want information. That gives Earth time to prepare. And maybe we'll learn more from inside." As the Zelaxian tractor beam pulled their ship in, Powell erased all signs of their mission from the computers. Her last command sent their collected data on a separate hidden transmission to Earth. Back in the Council chamber, the debate about humanity's fate continued, with no side winning yet. But time was running out for Earth. 6 months passed since the Lorians arrived. Earth changed more in that time than in the previous 50 years. Cities now had shimmering shields above them. Factories built ships that could travel faster than light. Soldiers trained with weapons that seemed impossible before. Dr. Elizabeth Grant hadn't slept properly in weeks. Her lab at the Global Defense Research Center was filled with both human and Lorian technology. Screens showed complicated diagrams and equations. "We're close to a breakthrough," she told her team as they worked through another night. "The Lorian quantum computers combined with our AI might give us an edge the Zelaxians don't expect." Across the room, her colleague Dr. Frank Miller nodded. "The Lorians think in patterns we would never consider. When we add human creativity, we get something new. They call their creation the adaptive battle system. It could predict enemy movements and adjust strategies faster than any human or Lorian alone." Meanwhile, at the Nevada testing grounds, Major Ryan Collins prepared for his most important mission. He stood before a sleek ship unlike any built on Earth before. Its hull contained Lorian crystals that worked with modified human engines. "The EDF Pathfinder is ready, Major," said the technician. "It's the first human ship with true FTL capabilities." Collins climbed inside. The controls were a mix of familiar and alien designs. He had trained in simulators for months, but this would be different. This would be real. "Pathfinder ready for launch," he reported. The ship rose silently, then shot upward at impossible speed. In seconds, he was beyond Earth's atmosphere. In minutes, he passed the moon. "All systems nominal," he reported, trying to keep his voice professional despite his amazement. "Preparing for FTL test." The stars around him blurred, then stretched. There was a moment of strange pressure, then the ship jumped forward. When everything stabilized, Collins saw Jupiter filling his view screen. "FTL jump successful," he said, his voice now truly steady. "I've reached Jupiter orbit in under 5 minutes." On Earth, the control room erupted in cheers. Humans had achieved faster-than-light travel. The celebration didn't last long. Warning systems across the solar system activated at once. The long-range sensors detected multiple Zolaxian ships approaching. "They're back," Admiral Monroe said grimly. "And they've brought friends." The Zolaxian fleet was 3 times larger than before. 8 massive warships surrounded by dozens of smaller fighters. They moved with purpose, heading directly for Earth. "Launch all defense ships," Monroe ordered. "Activate the planetary shield network." Earth's new fleet of 20 ships, each equipped with Lorian technology, moved to intercept. The Lorian vessel joined them, taking position at the front of the formation. From the bridge of the flagship EDF Defender, Captain Nathaniel Hayes watched the approaching enemy. "They expect an easy fight," he told his crew. "They think they know what humans can do. Let's prove them wrong." The battle began near Mars orbit. The Zolaxian ships fired energy weapons that could tear through normal metal. But the Earth ships now had shields based on Lorian crystal technology. They held. The human fleet moved in formations no one had used before, patterns developed by Dr. Grant's adaptive battle system. The Zolaxians couldn't predict where the Earth ships would be. Major Collins arrived from Jupiter, leading a squadron of smaller fighters. They attacked from behind while the main fleet engaged from the front. "The Zolaxians don't understand," Vexlor told Admiral Monroe as they watched the battle from Earth. "They expect you to fight like Lorians now that you have our technology, but you're using it in ways we never considered." After 6 hours of intense fighting, 3 Zolaxian ships were destroyed. 2 more were damaged. The Earth fleet lost 5 ships, but had protected the planet. The remaining Zolaxian vessels retreated beyond Neptune's orbit. For the first time, the mighty Zolaxian Empire had failed to overwhelm a species they targeted. They sent a message to the Galactic Council. "The human problem requires immediate attention. They have become a genuine threat." 3 days after the Zolaxian threat, Earth prepared for war. Scientists worked without sleep. Soldiers trained for battles unlike any fought before. Everyone wondered if these would be humanity's final days. Admiral Jack Monroe stood at the window of the United Earth Defense Headquarters, watching the sky. The Zolaxian ship hung there like a dark star, visible even in daylight. "Admiral, we have another situation," said his aide, Lieutenant Sam Baker. "What now?" "Have they started attacking?" Monroe asked. "No, sir. There's another ship approaching. Not Zolaxian." Monroe rushed to the control room. The screen showed a new vessel entering the solar system. It was smaller than the Zolaxian ship, but still impressive. Its surface gleamed like crystal, catching and reflecting sunlight. "Are they friends of the Zolaxians?" Monroe asked. Before anyone could answer, the new ship sent a message. "People of Earth, we are the Lorians. We have been watching your world. We come to offer help against the Zolaxian Empire." No one trusted this message at first. It seemed too convenient. But when the Lorian ship positioned itself between Earth and the Zolaxian vessel, people began to hope. A small Lorian shuttle requested permission to land at the defense headquarters. Monroe made the decision to allow it. The shuttle landed smoothly on the roof. Its door opened to reveal a being unlike anything humans had imagined. The Lorian representative stood nearly 7 feet tall with a body that seemed partly crystalline. Light moved through its form, creating patterns like flowing water. "I am Vexlor," the being said in perfect English. "We have much to discuss and little time." In a secure meeting room, Vexlor met with Earth's leaders. The alien's voice was musical and calm, a stark contrast to the tension in the room. "The Zolaxians are but one faction in the Galactic Council," Vexlor explained. "They believe emerging species should be controlled or destroyed before they can become threats." "And what do the Lorians believe?" Monroe asked. "We believe in potential. We have watched your species climb from caves to stars in a blink of cosmic time. Your adaptability fascinates us." President Garcia leaned forward. "Why help us now? The Zolaxians have grown too powerful within the Council. They must be checked." And Vexlor paused, lights rippling through its crystalline form. "We find your art, your music, your stories worth preserving." It was a strange reason to save a planet, but no one complained. Vexlor offered technology beyond human understanding. Weapons that could match Zolaxian power, shields that could protect Earth's cities, and communication systems to coordinate defenses. In exchange, Vexlor said, "We request access to your cultural archives, samples of your art, literature, and music." It seemed a small price for survival. Earth's leaders agreed to the alliance. What Vexlor didn't mention was that the Lorians were considered rebels by the Galactic Council. They had been searching for allies in their own political battles. Humans, with their quick thinking and determination, seemed perfect. Within days, Lorian engineers worked alongside human scientists. Dr. Elizabeth Grant led the Earth team, amazed by what she was learning. "Their science feels like magic," she told Monroe as they watched Lorian crystals being integrated into Earth's defense systems. "But I'm starting to understand the principles." The first test came a week later. 3 Zolaxian fighter ships approached the moon base. They were met by 2 Earth vessels newly equipped with Lorian technology. The battle lasted only minutes. 1 Earth ship was damaged, but both Zolaxian fighters were destroyed. The 3rd retreated. For the first time since the aliens arrived, people on Earth celebrated. News of the victory spread hope. With Lorian help, maybe humanity had a chance. But across the solar system, the main Zolaxian ship sent a message to its fleet. "The humans have allied with the Lorian rebels. This is now a priority conflict. All available ships converge on Sol system." The real war was just beginning. The year was 2078. Humans lived not just on Earth, but also on Mars, and had built bases on the moons Europa and Titan. The stars no longer seemed so far away. Commander Olivia Wright sat in the control room of Earth Defense Station Alpha, watching the radar screens. It was supposed to be a quiet day. She sipped her coffee and checked the systems one by one. Everything normal. Her screen beeped suddenly. A signal, unlike anything she had seen before. Not from Earth. Not from any human colony. "Ma'am, you need to see this," said Lieutenant Greg Parker, his voice shaking a little. "The signal is coming from beyond Neptune." Olivia rushed to his station and looked at the readings. "Alert all Earth Defense Fleet ships." Now, within hours, telescopes across the solar system turned toward the source of the signal. A massive ship, bigger than anything humans had ever built, was entering the solar system. It moved with a grace that seemed impossible for its size. The alien ship sent a message. It played on every screen, radio, and communication device on Earth and its colonies. The aliens spoke in perfect English, as well as Chinese, Russian, Hindi, and more. "We are the Zolaxian Empire. Your species has been deemed potentially dangerous. Submit to quarantine or face annihilation." World leaders gathered in an emergency meeting. People filled the streets, some in panic, others in wonder. This was humanity's first contact with alien life, and it came with a threat. Captain Nathaniel Hayes commanded the EDF Defender, the most advanced ship in Earth's small fleet. He received direct orders from the United Earth Council. "We can't just surrender our freedom," said Council President Maria Garcia over the secure channel. "But we can't start a war we might not win." Captain Hayes approached the alien vessel. "Show them we are willing to talk, but also that we will not be intimidated." Hayes guided his ship toward the massive alien vessel. The Defender was like a rowboat next to an aircraft carrier. Still, he kept his voice steady as he addressed his crew. "We represent humanity today. Whatever happens next will be in history books forever." He opened a channel to the alien ship. "This is Captain Nathaniel Hayes of the Earth Defense Fleet. We wish to discuss your demands and find a peaceful solution." No response came. The alien ship continued its approach toward Earth. Hayes made a difficult decision. Fire a warning shot, not at their ship, but across their path. The Defender fired its pulse cannon. The energy beam cut through space in front of the alien vessel. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, without warning, the alien ship released what looked like 3 small orbs. They moved with incredible speed toward Earth. "Track those objects," Hayes ordered. Before anyone could react, the orbs reached Earth's orbit. They exploded, destroying 3 defense satellites in perfect synchronization. "They just took out our main defense grid in seconds," Lieutenant Amy Foster reported, her face pale. Back on Earth, the destruction of the satellites was visible as bright flashes in the night sky. Communications worldwide became unstable. The Zalaxian ship broadcast again. "This is your final warning. Submit or be destroyed." Emergency meetings convened in every nation. For the first time in human history, all countries united without hesitation. Old enemies set aside their differences. The threat from beyond the stars made Earth's problems seem small. Admiral Jack Monroe addressed the hastily formed United Earth Defense Council. "We don't have their technology. We don't have their experience. But we have something they may not understand. We humans never surrender when our freedom is threatened." The Council voted unanimously. Earth would not submit to quarantine. If the aliens wanted a fight, humanity would give them one. As the sun rose over a nervous but determined Earth, Commander Olivia Wright received new orders. "Prepare all defenses." The first interstellar war in human history was about to begin.